Okay, hello. Everything should run now. Wait, maybe I put the microphone a bit less up. So this is technical check first. If someone is in the chat at this time where, of course, many people are at work and cannot tune in, then you can let us know if you can hear us, if you can hear us properly, if I need to change anything, if I need to look into anything, or if everything is all right. Okay.
It's working.
Yeah, seems to work.
Cool.
Good. Okay, yeah, then we can start. So we're here together, two people, me and Simon Pouly. Simon and me, we know each other for several years, since 2013, I think. 13, 14?
Or 12 even,
12?
possibly. Yeah.
Oh,
Quite
wow.
a while.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and we have done many things together throughout the years, many training things. And Simon is a father since 2 years and
3 months. And 3/4. Margetta will be 3 months. Margetta will be 3 in March. So yeah, 2 3/4.
So
yeah.
almost 3 years.
Yeah.
And became father of a second child just 3 months.
No, yeah, 9 weeks.
Yeah,
9
almost.
weeks.
Yeah, almost 3 months ago.
It's also
yeah.
how many hours, how many days, how many hours, rounded up. Yeah.
Okay, and my son Ephraim is now 1 year and 3 months. Is that true? Yeah, almost 4. Good. Simon is also doing a lot of BJJ, which might be good to know, just because in BJJ you deal so much with other people in such a close way. So maybe it's a bit affecting how how he's doing things. We'll see. Maybe we can find out. And I wanted to do this for a longer time already. First, we wanted to. There was we had a possibility some months ago to do it 3 people, also with Freddy, who's also training with us and also has 2 children. Yeah, time-wise it didn't work out, so now we do it like this, which is also fine. And one reason I wanted to do this is also to like most of the, or not most, but a lot of the literature and resources are always for mothers. I felt always like this. I read a book and then it's like, yeah, you as a mother can do this and this and this. And yeah.
Yeah.
So I felt like, okay, let's start a father thing also. So maybe it will go on throughout the next years. Let's see. So we have much more experience to gain. We don't know much, of course. We are just barely in the thing now. Yeah, for 1 year or 2 years. So probably things will change in the next years, and maybe things that we say now, you think later it's a mistake. Yeah, who knows? And we're very open to have a discussion, of course. So you can always send in your things in the chat. In the chat, there's a limitation how much you can write. So if you want to write something longer, you can send it via email to the email address that you should be able to see in this picture that I set up here. Good. Yeah, let's start. Let's
start at the beginning.
Yeah, let's start with something very simple. I thought about how can we start it, and then I thought I just asked you, Simon, what are you doing different? What are you doing different from what you see often, or what's where do you feel differences or maybe even conflicts with what's happening around you, what other parents are doing? Is there differences or not? Yeah, so big question. Yes, maybe, but I think it's a good opener. Just start with something, and then we can go from there.
We're doing different. It's pretty clear. First of all, like when I go to the park with Mariella, for example, since she was small, I was always much more the kind of active parent, the one kind of on the side that was moving myself, because like I was training a lot before Mariella was born, and had a lot of time to do my own thing and spend my time with myself. And that was then like really big change, that I just didn't have those hours on end to do myself. So I pretty quickly like realized, okay, I'm going to be with her, and we're going to do kind of what she wants to do and go outside and go to the parks. And then I quickly was at the park and I'd play with her, but the whole time I was kind of thinking about my own training and like, trying to kind of stretch and move as she did. As she played, I'd be on the side doing more and more my thing. Or even when I played with her, I still had it in the back of my head, like, when I go down to the ground, going through squats and doing Cossacks, and kind of just integrating this conscious movement, like how I'm doing it while playing with her. And if she went and did her own thing, then I would go on the side and let her do her thing, and I would go more into like a training modus and do handstands and kind of whatever I wanted to do that day. But for sure I was moving a lot more, rather than just maybe sitting and watching, which is, you see a lot of parents bring their kids to the playground and let them kind of go, and the parent watches, and when they're finished or when they have to go, then it's time to go. So this was like a very obvious thing to me.
Okay, that's a good point that I've also thinking about, and I had one talk with Kaspar Winter from Kopenhagen, who is also a child who's been here a few times lately. We talked also about some children things, and there was one conversation where I was thinking then about this topic, because we were in the garden and doing our grown-up stuff. We were like working with the hands. We were crafting some things, and Ephraim did his thing, basically just didn't get much attention, but he did his thing and trying things out and stuff. And then Kaspar and me talked about it. Kaspar told me, it's nice to see also when the child is just doing this, when it's just like free to roam and just doing whatever it wants, and it can come to the grown-ups and participate, and then it can also do other things and so on and so forth. And then let's say on the other hand, so there's this part, and then on the other hand there's this situation on the playground where it's clearly easily to observe that many parents just sit on the side and don't participate without judging it, because it's also very understandable. It's their time to maybe calm a bit down, so they don't have to all the time like be running behind the child. And on the one hand, there's this active, like doing something actively together, or like being a role model in a way of moving around, showing activity, not necessarily like showing it, but just doing it. Just doing it, and therefore allowing the child also to participate. And in this sense, it's very similar to this situation I just mentioned in the garden, where we were active, not just sitting around, but actively doing things. And Ephraim was also actively doing things, but not always what we were doing, but often he like something different. And then on the playground, there can be different adjustments. Is the right word? Like different Stufen, so
kind of levels.
Different levels. Maybe not. It sounds a bit hierarchical. But different versions of this. How like there can be that we really play together and do everything together, which is very bonding also in a way, I would say. And then there is this where what you are also doing a lot, you practice and you do things, and Marielle is also doing things, and you do things together, but there are also moments when you do your stuff and she's doing her stuff.
I try to let that be, let her kind of decide that, and often just we'll go, and then I kind of put the bag down and sit there a bit and maybe just kind of be there and see what she wants to do. And sometimes she'll run off and go do her thing, and then cool, then I can start doing my thing. And then other times, for whatever reason, she from the start kind of, come with me, let's do this, and then okay, I'll go. So that's very kind of changeable how that is. And so I just have to kind of go there to be open to, okay, let her kind of dictate that, because if you want to train and you go into that modus, you're going to play, I'll do my thing. And then on that day, she wants you to be there with her, and then it's kind of, can be hard. Oh, I wanted to train. Oh, we're making ice creams. So I very much go there with a openness to how that'll be.
Good. That's an important point, no? Or that's maybe something very big to learn to accept that if you have a plan, it doesn't always like go like this, no? Like
absolutely.
Especially when it's about this that is so close to the heart, like training, where it's like you're very passionate about it, and then you want to train, and then it's not possible because your child has something else in mind, and then it can be a bit of a conflict, not necessarily like not a conflict in meaning that it's a bad situation, but that okay, you want this, I want that, can we match it? And I guess especially when the child is young, then it's often that we the grown-ups decide, okay, then we do what you want now, and then maybe with age, this we will find out. With age it will become, there will be more, okay, but I want to do this and you want to do that, can we, okay, good, then I accept it, now we do, like maybe it's okay, no problem, then let's play together. No problem, it sounds a bit weird, but but you know what I mean? But on the other hand, it can maybe in the next years also be the situation that but sorry, I cannot, like, it's not possible.
And then I mean, with Mariella now, she's already at the age where she understands a lot, and I talk to her a lot. She can talk back, and I could explain that. I want to do my thing. I need my time if I had something that had to be done. But so this could definitely work if your kid accepts it or not. This kind of explanation. I need my time now. But generally if it's kind of at the playground, I'll go there with okay, this is more your time to decide. So if she still insists, then okay, and then I accept it. Yeah.
One person wrote, Patrick wrote, the problem is when adults sit by the side and look at their phone, you can be active even if you don't actively play. It's a good point, no? Yeah, good point.
What's he? I don't quite get that. What's he saying? Say it again.
Because we were talking about on the playground. The problem is when the adults sit by the side and look at their phone.
Yeah.
You can be active even if you don't actively play.
What does he mean by this? So the parent is...
Okay, Patrick, tell us
Explain
more.
I'm not
I
getting it. You get it?
Like intuitively, I get what he means.
Yeah.
But if you want more of an explanation, then we ask now. Patrick, we ask for, you can be active even if you don't actively play, to elaborate this.
Yeah.
Send it out now into the internet.
Yeah.
Let's see what
cool.
happens.
Yeah.
And someone else sent a question yesterday, and I think it fits to this. He asked, give me a second to look it up. He asked, how do you manage to have a high training volume? That was my reaction also. If your attention is if you need to bring your attention, I'm translating from German, bring your attention more to of course your child or your wife. How do you manage to do this, Simon?
How? I want to know too. How do you do this? I for sure do overall like less kind of have less me training time where I used to, where I was could fit in hours in a day, 4 or 5 hours. I could make the time, and now I just I don't train so much like with open training time just for me. On a day now I normally fit it in before or after my work where I teach. Like I teach jiu-jitsu, I teach some children parkour groups, and I also have my own group in Hamburg where we teach. And so the best way I've kind of done it to find that time my own is to connect it and do it before or after those things where I'm already kind of out of the house, and then I would go whatever I can kind of get Julia, my partner, to agree on. Okay, can I go at 6 or can I go at 5? What fits? And then I'll go as early as possible and give myself as much time as possible before I have to work, where I have my kind of training time. And that these days might be 2 hours before, or it might be half an hour before and an hour and a half afterwards. And that's also not kind of fixed, because it also depends on the day. And Julie says, no, today I kind of need you to be here, or I need to stay longer and cook, and then maybe I fit it on the end. But so to answer the question, it's since I've had kids, the overall volume of training time is drastically less. And that's where I've gone more into this modus of when we're at the playground and she's doing her thing or she's playing with a friend, then I start doing stuff. I have my tennis balls with me and I start playing with them, or I start doing some arm swings, and I do whatever kind of is I'm working on at the moment.
Yeah.
So, which is a big thing, I feel like. I wrote in a post recently, is to have like a broad practice. Like over the years working with you, we've done so much stuff, and I can quite easily, no matter where I am or what time of day, I can start doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I can start stretching, or I can start doing handstands, or this or that, or with balls, or whatever it is, just because I've got such a broad pool of kind of stuff that I find interesting under this practice that it's quite easy to always do something, even if it's for 2 minutes until Mariela comes back and says, "Hey, Dad, come here." Some stuff you can go in and out of, whereas other stuff, strength stuff or handstand, it's not so easy to do 2 minutes and then have to go away and come back and forth. But I have a lot of things that fall into this category, which I can kind of sprinkle throughout the day.
Yeah, for me it's also like this, like similar. That definitely the training volume is very, very different. Definitely it's reduced. Definitely it's much more of an organizational thing. Also, when is there time to do the deep focused training with nothing else going on?
Yeah.
And when is this time when it's with the child side by side, where the child is doing things, and there where at the same time maybe you can also do fit few things in of whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that the underlying thing is to be less attached to your training identity. If before the training was like your main thing, such a big part of your identity, then it cannot have the same place anymore once you have a child, because if it will create a lot of suffering actually in yourself, because if the training is so important and then you cannot train so much anymore like before, it will be
horrible.
It will be very hard for you. So that's in a way this is this simple solution, but of course it's not very simple. If it's not very easy if people are very attached, but if this can be done, like, okay, I'm not so attached to my training. If it happens, it's nice, but if it doesn't happen, it also doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Today I didn't have time to do any training. What can we call it? Training, whatever it means. Like when does it start to be a training or not? And to be not attached, but but whatever. It actually doesn't matter so much, because what matters is now other things are mattering more, and maybe that's more easy to understand for the people that have a child. Anyway, it's always like some of these things I feel like before I had a child, I really couldn't understand many of these things. Now I understand so much better. Recently in this Q&A, I also said now I understand. It's the first time in my life I understand when people want to do a training that takes the least amount of time. And they want to have like just an efficient, okay, I just go 20 minutes and that's it, and then I can go home. And now I really understand. Because it's the day is full if you work 8 hours, and then you you have more obligations in your life. You have children. Then 20 minutes, then maybe the training is just, okay, I want to stay healthy and fit. And I don't care so much about the being in the moment while training aspect that we also like so much, just to train the moment of training, but just to do it to stay healthy. Then I now really understand, okay, I search for what is most efficient. Although personally for me still it's not what I search, but I understand now, and there are many of these things that I understand much better since I have a child, because it's such a different life. Patrick answered, you can still engage with your child, talk to them, help, coach, and so on. Sometimes it's good to let the kids play by themselves or with the other kids in the park, but still be present.
Okay. Yeah. Whereas I would be Yeah, not on my phone. I would be, doing probably something physical. And be there. In the sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The phones. How do you do it with the phones, Simon?
We spent a long time like trying to hide the phones. Like always kind of going out of the room and had rules, just no phones around. She shouldn't see the phone, and we kind of as long as we could. I don't know. It didn't last that long until she saw us talking on the phone, and and now and taking photos. This is the thing which was a bit annoying because now with kids and babies, we always wanted to take photos and little videos. It's stupid. We want to get a camera now. I mean, now too late. Now she knows, okay, you can take photos. And she sometimes now she wants to look at photos. Like that's one thing on the phone. She always wants to photos. She wants to kind of scroll through and look at the photos. So she knows this is on the phone. It's not just for talking to people. So we have the phones there and she knows you can talk to people. She knows you can make photos and look at photos. And this is about it. No, we've never kind of given it to her as there's a lot of games and stuff, and you see that to a round kid in a pram just kind of tipping away playing its game. So I've never had it like that, but it's around, and we try when we're with her and when we're doing stuff to kind of put it away and not have that as a distraction when we're doing stuff with her. But sure, someone rings and then you go and answer the phone. But I think we've done pretty good in the sense that it's there, but it's not a huge thing so far.
Yeah. I'm personally at some point I just took the kind of not opposite direction, but I just accepted that, okay, this exists, and I also try to somehow hide it, and I still do it. But on the other hand, Ephraim knows that there are phones, and when he like sees the phone and wants to grab it and take it, I let him. I also sometimes I give it to him also. To not make it like a hidden thing or something. Yeah. And he understands that there is a touch screen.
You can already swipe and tap.
I mean, he cannot really do anything because it's locked, but he can like, touch the screen, and he knows you can call someone. So he takes the phone to his ear and he talks with the like. I mean, he cannot talk properly, but Yeah, he always, when he sees a phone, he takes it and he starts to talk with it. Yeah, so I see what happens. I don't know. Exactly. I don't know what happens. Like, maybe it's a very bad idea, but I thought, okay, maybe I just don't make a fuss about it, and if I try usually to put the phone at places where he cannot take it. But if it happens, or if he sees the phone and is like with his hand, I actually also sometimes give it to him just to here, okay, and then he just has it in his hands for a few seconds usually, and then he throws it to the ground or something like that. So let's see. It's an experiment. I think I never really heard any proper solution to it where you feel that's the solution of this thing. And I think there isn't, because it's so many different factors that come in to prevent the kid from being absorbed by the digital time. So like a bit of a balance.
But I agree with you, not kind of, if he does picking it up because you left it somewhere, to like, no, not trying this kind of taking it away from him, definitely for me wouldn't be the best approach either.
Yeah.
Like if she gets and wants to look at photos, and sometimes say, no, we're not looking at photos, finished, and should we draw something, or should we go climbing in the room, or have like a Sprossenwand where we play a lot, or some rings, should we go do on the rings, or offer a few other things? No, there's no photos. But yeah, I wouldn't try and make it a big thing to pull it out of their hands if they pick it up or something, and make it this then it's for sure gonna be like, ooh, what's in there?
Exactly. Like in the beginning, we really tried that he doesn't like take it, and then we had an old phone. And then we tried this, like we just gave him the old phone that doesn't work.
Yeah.
No, you cannot switch it on or anything. So he could touch it and hold it in his hands, and then I think this was good because he lost this big interest in it that he had when we weren't allowing him to take it. Yeah, then it was I want to touch it.
And it's also a weird thing, like we talked about the other day, of who was it, your brother or someone with the TV. He was playing games and the kid wasn't allowed to watch. And again, it just doesn't make sense if the whole time parents are on there doing whatever, staring at this thing, and then but you're not allowed. Like, I mean, I think as much as you can would be to, okay, when you're kind of together, put it out of sight for both of you, no, to kind of put it away. But to be on the phone the whole time and then to tell them, yeah, but you're not, no, I don't want you to be on there. It's kind of,
it's such a funny situation.
It's a funny situation. So
we are like so aware it's like a problematic thing.
Yeah.
And
I'm doing it. You don't do it.
It's a bit like smoking
do what I say, not what I do.
Or like to have a gun or something like this.
Yeah.
No, it's also like, I can have it, but you cannot have it. And, but then it's okay. Maybe it's also for grown-ups not so good to have smoke a cigarette or to, I don't know, walk around with a gun or something like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's stay at this digital topic. Because Caspar, that I mentioned earlier, this morning he sent me a message. It's an audio message, so maybe I can just play it. I don't know if Caspar is allowing me to play it. I didn't ask him, so maybe, Caspar, if you listen to this, and I know you don't listen now, but if it's very wrong, I'm so sorry that I did it. But open source. Okay, let's see, Caspar, what do you have to say?
Hi, Josef. This is a question related to the live event you have later, soon. And I will not be able to see it, but as this subject is also close to my heart, I just wanted to ask you guys if what you think about this whole digitalization of our lives and social media and so on. Because many parents are posting a lot of pictures to promote their own self-realization. And I think we do not know completely how this will affect, and of course we will never know completely how this will affect every child, because they will of course be all different people and react differently towards it. But what do you think about it? My own concern is that it creates some kind of narrative of this person that is constructed by something the parents want to show, and this can put some kind of pressure towards the child, that when it becomes more self-aware, it will be able to see this story of a child and will therefore be more restricted in creating its own story and identity and preferences and mood and so on. So it's actually an intuitive concern that I have. I do not share anything of my child, but I think there is also some theoretical points that is like reinforcing my concern. So this narrative becomes some kind of somehow behavioristical in shaping the behavior of the child. Yeah. Okay, so this was just a question about this digitalization and parenting, and I'm looking forward to see what you guys discuss.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting question, an interesting topic, with posting photos and things from our kids. I think everyone kind of has to, at the end, decide for themselves how they want to do it. Some don't post at all. And then the other extreme is these people, like he says, just posting so many photos of their kid and kind of, really gaining so much attention, because for sure it's kind of easy to do, because kids are so cute and sweet, and it's for sure, like on Instagram and Facebook, easy to get these clicks and likes every time you post cute photos of your kids. So I can see the attention, the attraction kind of to that. But what that happens then when the kid is older, I don't know, but it's a good question. When the kid looks back and sees itself how it was portrayed, it's a very good question, especially if it's like most of the time when you see these kids, little kids posted, it's always very set up and the best photos and the cutest photos, and it's obviously very strong in one way, generally.
Not the moments of complete frustration.
I think that's what I was thinking. Maybe we just need to balance that out with
more frustrating,
some screaming, some
in the night where you just wake up and are like, fuck, what is this life that I chose?
But this could be sort of an antidote. But I don't know how many likes you get for a short video of everyone screaming and crying, and you post that online. But that's really obviously the reality. No matter what is portrayed, for sure there's cute, beautiful moments, but there's very
that's the thing, like in the internet
moments.
It's indeed, like in the internet you would think, like if you see it you think, wow, it's always great with a child. But there are some very frustrating moments where you just also don't know what to do, and because the reality is so much more diverse of moments, moments of super happiness, and moments of neutral, and moments of complete frustration. But of course this is not just with kids, it's with all, like no one is talking much about, I don't know, the frustrating moments of life in social media. But maybe my thought was now, like two thoughts I have. The first one was maybe the social media stuff of the child could just be deleted after some time. So when the child gets older and can look back, maybe then it's the time to delete it from the internet. There could be a solution. Because why keeping it there anyway? Like it has such a short half-life, all this stuff. if it's some very valuable content, then it could be staying. But if it's just a photo, we were in somewhere, here nice photo of our holiday, then this could be maybe deleted from the internet. And then the other thought I had was, because I think if it has a message, then it can be valuable. And I've posted very, very, like, just a few things of where Ephraim is in a picture or in a video, and I always did it when I thought there is a message here. There's a valuable message about parenting, and it is somewhat close to also books, reading and writing books about children. Because on one hand, you could say there's no need to read books about children, because you can just learn from the other people around you or intuitively, which I think is very true. But if you are not in the right surroundings, because I know someone that said this, the first, like the father of a friend of mine, the thing that you need to do for raising his child is not to read books. But the thing is that he lived and had his children in a very, very different environment, in like a very alternative environment that was functioning very differently from our daily life here. And I think the books, or also this content, this like quality content in the internet, can help to get some other ideas that you maybe might not get when you are
not exposed to it.
Exactly.
Otherwise,
and like yesterday I posted about this book Punished by Rewards from Alfie Kohn, which is actually asking big questions about our whole society, about how the society functions in itself. That it's an American book, so that the American society, the US society, functions a lot through these rewards, and that the idea of the human being is that the human being is in a way lazy and is only doing things for rewards, and he's like in this, with his work, revolting against this claim. And also in children's education and stuff, because he says all the rewards, they always kill the intrinsic motivation. So if you give a child like, you did so well, now have an apple or a piece of chocolate, this kills the intrinsic motivation of the child. This is his big claim.
Yeah. And
this is like a huge thought, like a huge question that can, like, if you go very deep into it, it questions the whole society. And usually if you would just be, like, if you're just around your normal setup, where maybe you're in a setup where it's very common to give rewards and to be like, you did so well, little child, here, take this. Or with the whole school system with its Noten, wie heißt das?
Like notes or grades.
Grades. With its grades. Yeah. Always this rewards. Then maybe you wouldn't get this idea, this thought. So there is this work by Alfie Kohn, there is these books. So it can be very, very, very valuable to read these books, because your society is going a different path.
Yeah.
And in the same sense, the internet work can be valuable when it shows something that your surroundings do not show. And one big thing, I think, is the non-physicality of most human beings, not most, but in our society, many human beings. And I think that's also your big topic, to be a parent that is also physically a role model, moving around, like being able physically, having skills, and not just sitting around and saying, yeah, you can do that, but this you cannot do. Patrick wrote again here, it's a shame kids do what you do, not what you tell them to do, like with this like blinking smiley. To be a role model in this sense, in a physical sense. So Simon, now maybe please tell us about this idea of the physicality, especially because you have already done workshops for parents how to engage more actively in play with the child. Spotting, you did spotting also with parents, like how to spot the child when it does something dangerous and stuff. Let's go.
With that idea, I tried last year in summer. I made a few single kind of very short workshops for kids from 3 to 5, and then I invited their parents to join there, because I'd be doing a lot more with older kids without their parents in the Stadtpark, sort of like a outdoor parkour practice where I'd show these kids kind of technical stuff, technical vaults and jumps and bits and pieces, and then we spent some time in the forest practicing these things and just exposing them to parkour in the bush. You can because when they're older you can start to go a lot more into the technical side of it. How do I do it faster and better and make it look cool? But at the young stage it's more just about exposing them to the environment, which I did with Mariella also early on. Was like, I was pretty conscious not just to go to a playground where it was pretty obvious the slide is for sliding and the swing is for swinging and the roundabout is for this. Not the same reason, which I think is very good for adults, to spend time in nature. It's very kind of open, organic, the way you move if you go into the bush. So I was doing this with Mariella like very early on, since she was born, going into the Stadtpark where there's really nice rhododendrons, really nice trees for me and also for her. So it was really kind of cool. So, and I saw like, okay, now she's really thinking, and just to kind of be in there, she was already figuring out how to climb over these branches and unders and move through. And I was thinking, man, she's moving, in so many ways and solving so many problems and experiencing so much with the trees. And sometimes it was wet and rainy, and I thought that's just a really cool thing. So I did a few times these workshops where I kind of took kids 3 to 5 and invited their parents to come in, and we spent some time also in the bush. And I talked about first of all why I think it's a good reason to go into the forest or the bush or the park, a bit away from the playground, where it's very clear what you do and you see the other kids doing it like this. It annoys me a bit at the playground sometimes. I've had the thing where the kid is trying to walk up the slide and the mum or the dad's like, no, that's not how you do it. You go this way. And no, they try to swing by like some crazy arching their back, whatever. And the mum or dad comes over and says like, no, you're kind of, that's not how you do it, and I'll show you how to do it properly. And I was like, man, come on, just let them just, whatever, who cares if you go the wrong way in this. And in a playground, maybe it's a disadvantage to a playground because the other kids are sliding down, and if you go the wrong way, it could create some problems. So I was like, cool, in the forest we don't have this issue at all. There's nothing we have to do, no way we have to do it. And then so the big thing was with the parents, I tried to say, first of all, cool, get them into the bush or the forest if you can, if this is interesting for you, because it's very good for the child, I think. And then again, I tried to make it not like a teaching thing. I was never kind of teaching Mariella how to go over. I was again just kind of started playing around myself, and she was there and she would start doing her own thing. But the biggest thing was bring her into this environment. I think is just an awesome thing to let her kind of experience it for herself. And the next thing was kind of, just letting her have time to play and discover and to kind of get into yourself, which I think was quite difficult for the parents. The big thing when I took these groups into the bush was often like the kids would just start picking up sticks and climbing and crawling around, and the parents, and I said from the start, hey, I want you to come in here with me and I'll teach with the parents some technical stuff, how we go over, and we'll start working and we'll just see kind of what the kids start doing. No, they might start following you over, but let's just kind of let them do their thing. And this was for a lot of the adults quite difficult because a lot of them
like mentally it was like
mentally just to start climbing over these logs and doing that. No, if someone's already has some sort of practice, parkour or this or that, or is open-minded enough to start jumping and playing, but it's a bit difficult also because the group just met on the day, so maybe they had also some kind of self-consciousness what the other parents are looking, and this was a bit hard. So the most time I ended up with these kids having a great time running around and jumping, and the parents kind of standing around, and me also, come on, I'm straight into it with the kids too, jumping around and playing. So this is where it didn't work so good, but I told the parents, hey, if you're at all interested, I recommend you go into a park and maybe just you and your child, and then you feel a bit more open to start yourself moving around and playing and jumping. So it was very interesting, and I'm not sure how many took this on and did this, or if they just kind of, no, that was just for the day, and then they went back to whatever they were doing.
It was a nice experience.
Yeah, never doing that again. Back to the playground. I don't know. But I kind of wanted to just show that. And it was pretty interesting because, Mariella, from the time we spent together, is now for sure very secure and very good at climbing and has really great balance from, I think, all this time spent kind of letting her do it. So I saw the big benefits with her and would try to say, hey, if you put your kid kind of in this environment, maybe your kid develops these skills also.
Yeah, I remember one moment when I was at your place and Julia, your wife, came back with Mariella, I think, from the kindergarten. And she said there was a physical task that the kids were doing in like I think they had a day when they were doing some like children's gymnastics play sort of thing or something like this.
They had a day where it was like a dress-up day. I think this is what you're talking about. And they had to set up a Turnbank, like a long bank.
Yes.
And it was like set up like pirates. Like underneath was the water with the sharks, and they had to kind of walk the plank and balance over this turned over bank.
Yeah, and Julia said that Mariella was the only one that could do it.
Yeah, I was there watching. I was on the side like, yes, Papa, yes, don't fall into the shark. Quietly, of course, on the side. In my head, I contained it well. My pride.
Like on the soccer field, no? The parents on the soccer field. Kick.
Yeah.
Okay. This is indeed interesting. Of course, it's not about the child being better than the other child. That's clear. Yeah, that should be clear for everyone. It's not about the competition, but it just shows if the child can grow up in a certain way, or in environments where that are not discouraging from movement, but are actually encouraging. Then already in this young age of 2-year-old, it shows there is a difference to other children that are probably not growing up with the same environment, also mental environment. Like they grow up sort of in the same environment, they grow up in the same city, but the setup of what they are, let's say, encouraged or allowed to do is different. And there are already, it was 10 years, 10 years ago or something like this. I remember how studies were made in Germany, and it was said that, for example, many children in I don't know what age, but they struggle to walk backwards. And before, it was never a problem because the life was less physical of the child. And you mentioned quite a few things now in this that happened in this workshop, and maybe also an important detail of when you do things with the child, when you play and so on and so forth, to not tell the child, okay, this is how you do things and this is not how you do things, but to let the child freely explore. And you are just there to open the situation and let the kid explore. And that's maybe one of the biggest, let's say, mistakes. It's hard to, like, we don't know, but I have the feeling. This is a very big mistake. I allow myself to say it now. In our society, to have this is how something is done and this is not how something is done, although the child is not trying to do anything in particular, like there's no competition going on, or it's not getting food, like it's not collecting food or it's not building a house, or like it's not there doing anything in this way, life and death threatening situation, but it's just exploring the environment. And then the problem is the limitation, the limited mind of the parent then can become a very big problem for the development of the child. And also, if the child, I think if the child is put too early into environments that are very narrow and stiff, something like gymnastics, like the proper gymnastics, something like ballet, where these are disciplines where children often start with 4 years, 3 years, sometimes even 2 years old, and some teachers there already tell the children, no, this is how you do things, like this, like not like this, this is beautiful, this is not beautiful, and so on. And it really narrows down the mind of the child, the world of the child. It's very, very dangerous in my opinion, these practices. And in this way, to go into the forest, into an open environment, or to see the playground more open, not here you can do something, here not, this is allowed, this is not allowed, is potentially creating very, very big benefits.
Yeah, I totally agree with and often it can come out of good places. I think this wanting to help and show you how to do it properly, not like, oh, this is how you slide and this is how you swing, because you want to help. But I don't know, I think for sure just give them time, because how much is being learned in those times where they, like you say, it might not even be or trying to put the shoes on, for example. Here, I'll help you, I'll do the shoe. Now I've also consciously kind of, if I have the time, I'll let her for 3, 4, 5 minutes put her shoes on. And maybe she's actually not even trying to put her shoe on. She's like putting it in this way just to kind of see. And then she plays a bit with the straps. And then I don't even know if she's trying to really put the shoe on as fast as she can. But as much as I can, I will, step back with these things, with putting shoes on and getting dressed. And okay, if we have time, of course, sometimes like we got to go. We got to go. And then the same with the practice, like outside with the trees. Not helping too much. No, and it's hard if you fall into the habit of it, that the kids, like, we had a thing where we were going over a log, and then the parents would say, yeah, cool, we'll all go over. And then we can see, and often the kids would want to be with their mum or their dad, so they'd come up to the log, and how quickly some kids go, hands up, mum, and it's no effort to try. And then where other kids would start like, okay, lean over the log and would attempt it and would try. So that was a big topic of, no, don't be too quick to help your child to pick it up. And so one step was do the thing and let your kid try. And then when they come to the stage of mum or dad, pick me up, my next step would be to like see if there's a part of the log which isn't so high. And I would say, look here, it's not so high here. Maybe you could try it here. No, like, come, let's try here. And the kid would either stand there and, no, mama, or hopefully would like, okay, understand even before you can talk. It's actually quite crazy how much children do understand before you can even have the language to, okay, and then, all right, come try here. And then often it would work there. And it's just, I think this is just so much better to go to this step, offer another option rather than you can or you can't. I pick you up, so okay, option B, try here. And then my next kind of idea with a spotting, helping a kid like over a log, for example, would be let them try, find a spot where it's a bit easier. If it still doesn't go, my next step would be to create a spot with my foot or my hand to create like a step where they still, in the end, kind of do it themselves. Would be like, okay, stand here, and then they still, to the most part, have done it themselves. It would be very, very rare when I knew she could come over somehow that I would pick her up and lift her over something. Like obviously, sometimes it's a massive thing, but this would be this kind of steps I would go through. And sometimes, like every day is different. Sometimes she would have a lot of patience to try here and maybe go down a bit further, and other days, wasn't so into it. And then
Matthias wrote, do you do anything to prevent anxiety which could grow in the child, like fear of heights? And I personally feel at the moment that I would like sometimes Ephraim to have a tiny bit more fear of heights. Because sometimes he's like really just falling off things, and like I try to stay very calm, and let him be at kind of edges, but I also know like sometimes he's very aware and he knows there is an edge, and then all of a sudden the next moment he forgets, and then he just takes a step into nothing. So of course fear of, I don't mean fear of heights, but the knowledge that if you fall down there, it can hurt. But how to prevent fear of heights is a good question. Or is fear of heights something to prevent, or is it coming up from the parents? That might be also a question that you say, don't go up there, it's dangerous, and maybe this is also creating the fear of heights.
Yeah, I think quite possibly. I've seen this like happen a while ago in the park, where the kid on his own just crawled up a tree, and he was quite high. He was maybe 1.5 meters kind of off the ground, but he'd got up there, and more than likely he'd be able to get back down. And the mum didn't see him climb up and saw him, and she just started screaming at him like, straight away, like, get down, don't fall, was like the worst thing that you can say to this kid who just kind of tensed up, and then and there nearly fell down just from this panic of the mum, who was obviously you don't want your kid to fall down and hurt themselves, but she just projected so strong her fear, which like almost made the kid fall out of the tree, which it was a very obvious lesson in not kind of projecting your fear onto the kid, because the kid was cool as he was, everything as far as he was concerned was under control, and he was a bit older too. He was maybe 3 years or so. Like more than likely he would have gone as far as he could have and found his way down. So in regarding to the heights, I would just again not kind of lifting them up onto things, I think is very important. Let them know first they will start with standing and falling on their bum and climbing up a chair or something, and I think it's kind of inbuilt that they progressively learn this. And then sometimes if it was really high and I was like, okay, if she falls now it's going to be really bad, then I would also not say don't climb it, then I would go underneath on the side, and if she falls I would try to catch her. It's kind of my idea. I wouldn't say no, don't I don't know.
Yeah,
What's the best option? To say, don't climb that high, because if you do, you fall. And then I just say, then I just watch. Just, I told you so. No, I would often let her climb as high as she wanted, but position myself that if she falls now, if it's 2 meters up, and she also didn't really have a fear, like in these bars, which are 2 meters up, these big monkey bars, she would climb up, and often it's relatively easy to climb. That's also the thing in regards to playground, with these steps and these monkey bars, it's very linear and progressive. So if they can do the first 2 steps, then they could technically climb as high as they wanted. And in nature, not always, but sometimes it's kind of self-regulating, the branches and the this and that. And this is, once they can climb a ladder, they can climb as high as they want. Yeah. So I would let her climb, and close enough that I can catch her, which happened quite a few times.
Yeah, so the message is to not project your own fear on the child. I with many people I had it that when Ephraim is climbing around, that they were afraid much earlier than me, because I know what he can do and what he cannot do. But especially like I had my grandparents here once, and it was hard for them. The like 2 hours they were here, they were under stress because of Ephraim like doing things that were for me so normal. Like nothing to, not even, I don't even need to be close, because I know he can do all this. But for them it was very, very unusual to see. Wow.
Yeah, funny that it's your grandparents, which I kind of thought maybe the old school mentality was more let them do what they want, and today it was more of a problem.
Maybe it was, but maybe when you're older,
you fall back into
maybe that's the thing. Maybe
because yourself has a fear of has to be more careful as you age with falling and steps and this and that. So maybe you kind of project that a bit.
I just remember a funny moment with my mother. That was that was funny because because we let Ephraim do so many things, and then Ephraim had a cherry in his hand, and my mother said, he shouldn't eat the cherry because he cannot spit out the
pip or the stone.
The stone, he cannot spit out the stone. He doesn't know how to do it. And then he took the cherry, and I just looked at my mother like, okay. And he took the cherry, ate it, and spit out the stone. Yeah. Like in the exact moment, and then when she just said, because she said, I was reading somewhere that small children cannot do that.
Yeah.
And then the next moment, Ephraim is doing exactly what is written somewhere, what is not possible. With not even 1 year old, he was maybe 8 months or something like this. Or 10 months. It was really funny because there was this discrepancy of what some people write somewhere, people write books or articles about what children can do and what not, and I also never had Ephraim swallowing a stone, but I never took away a stone from him. If it was like a normal stone, like nothing extremely dirty, I never took it away. He puts it in his mouth and then he spits it out. I never had a moment where he was choking on a stone or something like this. Yeah. But so many people, he's eating a stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. He's spitting it out, and the next moment it's not a problem if he takes some stuff that is actually dangerous, like this. Like yesterday we talked about cigarette butts. Yeah. Fucking people that
don't throw your cigarette butts on the ground.
Cigarette butts, guys, please. This is the worst thing. This is of course a different situation where it can be actually dangerous because of the poison in the cigarette butts. Yeah. But the stone, I don't know. Maybe once it happened to a child that it choked up on a stone or something like this, and then now it became a thing that children should never touch stones.
But this is a big thing, putting stuff in your mouth. kids
Yeah,
sand
exactly.
and
Yeah,
sticks
that's
and
how they
leaves.
learn
Hey,
it.
no.
To fields and
Which is another topic. Books and things and information and how do you do it and how do you deal with this and stop. No, so they sleep through and I think you can fall into the trap of searching for the right answers and this and that online or with books and a lot of the stuff you can go back into just
the big danger of
a big
books,
danger of, or kind of just asking for advice. I'm always surprised with things like like breastfeeding or sleeping or this and that, how people kind of go online for advice and then in these forums, and then people are so quick to give advice. This is what you do, and it's so kind of subjective. It's so different for every person. I think like I have real trouble. I happily talk about kind of what we do, but I'll never say like this works or this is the best way to do it in regards to kids, because I've got no idea if it works for your kid, for your child. So giving advice, I never kind of trying to say, and the problem is I think if you go online, there are so many people willing to quickly tell you how to do things, and it's not always gonna work.
Sharik just wrote. Sharik from Hey Sharik, good to know that you're here online also. Nice to hear from you. My wife's parents are both kindergarten teachers. One kid dislocated his shoulder because he was climbing, and now it is bad for children to climb around in the playground.
Oh.
And I had something something similar recently that a relative, like someone in Annika's family, actually said he's not picking up his children in a certain way anymore, like from when you pull on the arm, something like this. I don't remember anymore, but because there is the likelihood of the luxation of the elbow or something like this.
Okay.
And he's a doctor.
Yeah.
I say, okay, you're in this setting where maybe you see, of course, more kids where it happens because you work in a hospital.
Yeah.
But to now say, okay, the danger is just too high because it happened once to a kid, or it sometimes happens to a kid, and it's not even a huge problem if this happens. It's not that the elbows will be hurt for the rest of the life.
Yeah.
That's a good example that Sharik gave. That especially in these settings, like kindergartens, where it's a lot about insurance and you have responsibility for the child of someone else, and then you want to stay very safe. And I mean, Germany is not so bad with these things. Playgrounds are even built in Germany in a way that they are a bit dangerous. There is this, because of course in Germany everything is normed. There's always not standardized, but there are things. Okay, this is allowed on a playground and this not allowed. Okay. There's 10,000 pages or whatever. And actually every week, at least in Berlin, as far as I know, every week someone is looking at the playgrounds. Like each playground, every week someone is going and checking the playground if everything is all right. But in these rules, there is also implemented that it can be dangerous, that it's important for the child that is exposed to some danger. That's very great. Actually, the German playgrounds are quite good in my opinion. Not all of them, but especially the old school ones, the wooden ones. Yeah. Now they build more like metal and stuff like this, which is annoying because especially in the winter it gets very cold, and also the touch, the feeling is not the same like when we go with wood. Hey, and if you have anything particular you want to talk about, we can do that. But I had the question about that Mariella is also going to do some BJJ children classes, if you want to. If you want to say something about that. Or can you just say what's the idea, what's the concept?
Well, I don't know. The idea was I was doing my BJJ and I was doing kids classes from 3 to 5 year olds, very small kids. Since how long? 5 years or so. Quite a long time. I've been doing that, and I don't know. Kind of fell into it. All the stuff with kids is quite funny because I never planned to do so much with kids, to be honest. Now I do the kids parkour and some of my own things with kids and the kids jujitsu, but they haven't, organically. I always just kind of got on with kids pretty well somehow. I don't know if there's sometimes room full of adults and kids. I'd much prefer to go and hang out with the children, to be honest. Sometimes it's quite funny. I don't want to sit around with you guys and chit chat.
To be honest, a few times I was told, why are you not participating here when we blah blah blah? Because I was playing with the children. Because I was so annoyed by the grown-ups just talking about nothing.
Yeah, totally. So I always had kind of this, connected often fairly well and fairly quickly with kids for whatever reason. Wasn't a conscious thing, and then I started to do the kids jujitsu, where with the little kids it's much more, it's not really jujitsu at all. We play games, with some contact and some coordination things, running and jumping, and then later look at rolling and different things. And so I'd been doing that for a long time, and then I thought, maybe Mariela can come. And then I just said, okay, do you want to come to jiu-jitsu with me? And we'd been doing it at home already, play rough, we call it.
Yeah.
Which was just kind of, sometimes she just had so much energy and would be jumping on me and and then we just came up with a name for it, play rough. And we decided that, no, if you want to do it, you have to ask the person, want to do some play rough? And then you had to do the clap hands, fist bump to say yeah, you're ready, just so it was coming from both sides, which is also what happens in jiu-jitsu. So she'd already was used to jumping on me and rolling, and we had a lot of contact at home. And then I said, come to jiu-jitsu if you want. And she came with Julia, and Julia just sat with her on the side because I wasn't sure how she would react. But I put on my gi and started with the kids, and she just instantly came and lined up at the start with the rest of the kids. I was sweet. She wasn't shy at all somehow. She just joined in, and then with the warm-up and everything, the running around, she got into it straight away and did a 45-minute class on her first session. I was amazed. That she concentrated so long and took part in everything. And then this has just been kind of unregular, really. When it fit that she could come, and she's still coming with Julia just in case, because she was still younger. She was then...
usually they start older?
2. Yeah, 3. So she was already much younger. So I said, I didn't want to have to stop the training in case she had something and didn't want to or ran off. So it's whenever it kind of works that Julia's able to be there in case she has enough. I let her, then go with Mum. But generally when she comes, she joins in the class and takes part in everything, and works really well. So, and I think the big reason was because she kind of was used to this with me. If it was another small child with me as the trainer, it usually takes more time for them to kind of get to know me. Some kids come and watch one class or 2 classes even, where they just sit and watch until they start running with a warm-up, and then they go back to Mum, and it takes a lot longer. But that's been really cool to kind of have her there, and and now again a bit less with the second child born. We don't have so much time for Julia. Would have to come with Eleanor also, so now we have a bit of a break. But it was really cool to see. But also did it very no pressure. If she wanted to join, she could join, and when she'd had enough, and it worked really well. It's nice.
With all these things, always the approach, how it's done. Everything martial arts for children, or dance for children, or or gymnastics for children, whatever it is, it's always how the people that are there, how are they doing it? Like what's the attitude, what's the approach? If it is something good, let's say, or if it's something that can be in the end problematic. I mean, that's always like with all the things that we do now, you feel sometimes it's so difficult to know, like you do all these things and okay, what's like in 20 years, 30 years, what is this like? Was this then will you realize this was the right thing to do or the wrong thing? And then like there's one quote that I think I told you in the last days, that I really like so much, from Marshall Rosenberg, the inventor of nonviolent communication, where he said, "Hell is to have a child and to think there's something like a good parent." That's I thought was very, very, very good, very, very funny. Yeah, because you just with all this psychoanalysis that came up, where it's like, okay, what's happening in the childhood in the first years seem to have a huge impact on what's going on later. It's like, okay, the pressure's on. And because we like, it's shaping the society, how the parents are, how the parents are. It's shaping a lot the society, and that's why I think it's so important to be very aware of your responsibility as a parent.
Think about it, but at the same time, don't exactly like what the quote. You can't be too harsh on yourself, and compare and am I doing because man, sometimes you just don't do it right, probably. But at the end of the day, if you're coming at it with good intentions, then you can't go too wrong. I don't think, you can't do everything right. So I think you just have to be a bit, kind of soft on yourself too. You can't do everything perfect, and you have to accept that sometimes freak out and probably don't react the best way every time, and that's all right too, There was a few things I just put down here. It's not directly related to like training. I don't know in what kind of direction we would be talking, but it's a few things kind of that we do. I just wrote it down. Things we do that are maybe not so mainstream, but work for us. So maybe I could just say what they kind of, what they are, and then we can go into them or not. But maybe it's some things that maybe someone hears and wants to look into more themselves. But some things we do which aren't maybe so standard as this, like co-sleeping, which I know you do too with the kids. They sleep in the same bed with us, which when we went, some doctors even recommend, don't do that. It's dangerous. Don't.
Because you can roll on
because you can roll into them, and your blanket can go over them, and they might die. So there was one thing where it was like, no, against the mainstream. But
I had one moment in the beginning where, like in the beginning, I felt like I wasn't so good with it. It happened to me 2 or 3 times that I was kind of rolling on Ephraim. And Annika was very aware of my stupidity.
I just couldn't sleep.
And she told me. And then for some time I was sleeping in a way that it couldn't happen. And then my body, like myself, I don't know, it just developed. Then it didn't happen anymore. But in the beginning I was a bit concerned also. But then it just happened that there was, the danger disappeared.
And then they pretty soon are robust enough that if you rolled on, they, and then tell you to get off, and all right, you're not gonna, it's not gonna be too drastic. So this is one thing which for us works really well. I love it. Having we have now 2 kids in the bed. We have a double bed and bought an extra bed. So now we have 4 of us in the bed, and yeah, it works for us well. And some people are like, your own space and this and that. I don't care. For me, I really enjoy it, and it works well to have her in the bed. So something to think about, as opposed to trying to get them out into their own bed and get their independence as early as possible. That's one thing we do. We do a lot of carrying our kids right from the start with a trage tuch. We did a lot of right from the start, because Mariella wasn't into like prams at all. She pretty much started screaming straight away. So she kind of needed that contact, and the best way if you're gonna hold your kid for a long time is like with a trage tuch. So we did a lot of that.
First time. I got a question about this actually.
Yeah.
About if you have methods or movement patterns to counterwork the pressure from the daily carrying of the child, like to rebalance it. And
if they want to be carried all the time,
the pressure on your body is
okay.
the one that is carrying it.
Okay.
Because I also felt like when Ephraim got heavier, I had some moments when my body needed to adjust, like when it took me a week or 2 weeks to like he got a bit heavier, and then it took me 1 or 2 weeks where I felt okay, now I'm adjusted to carry him for a long time. Because then for some time I felt my lower back, when I strap it, maybe also a bit not so ideal, the cloth.
Yeah.
Then maybe I'm a bit in not such a good position in the lower back, and so on and so forth. And I'm not even sure if you need to do anything in particular, if it just goes through time anyway. But I like Annika definitely also did some extra leg strength work.
Okay.
And some extra waves, like spinal work, and I also did some extra spinal work. Legs, did I do extra legs? I don't remember anymore. Yeah. So, but we both did a bit of extra stuff. I would probably say some extra work for the legs, for the posterior chain, and some extra moving the spine, like spinal waves or circles and so on and so forth. You ever had this? Yeah, you ever had?
No, I didn't do any additional stuff. Julia actually would carry the kids a lot more than me. I don't know, she was more into the trage tuch. I more often, as she got older, would just kind of not in the arms, shoulders. We do a lot now, and just changing positions without trage tuch. And as soon as she could walk, then it was like, okay, walk a bit. I need a bit of a rest. She'd walk a bit, and then when she's tired, I'd pick her back up, and kind of doing it this way. And I never carried for super long times with a trage tuch. And then we got this other thing, which is, I don't know if I remember the name, Ombohemo, kind of what we lent you.
Yeah.
Which isn't like a trage tuch, it's more like a backpack with straps, which sits, I feel, a lot better than a trage tuch. I mean, trage tuch, I think if you do it right, which takes practice to tie it really comfortably, can sit really comfortable, but I always kind of got frustrated with this and didn't do it right, and then it would dig in, so I would use more the Ombohemo.
Yeah, this wasn't my thing, I have to say. Like for me, because what's missing there is the waist strap. Like when you have like a big backpack where you have the waist strap, and with a trage tuch, how do you say this in English? Cloth? Sling. How they don't really have they don't sling? Have the same terminology like in German.
Yeah.
Anyway, when you have this thing, you can build like a waist strap, and now we also have one which is also like a backpack but with a waist strap, and this I feel is very good because it's very quick also to ready, and that's good. Did you read the Continuum Concept, the John Lidloff? Did you also read it?
No, I looked kind of through it, but I don't remember what that was about.
Because there she makes this huge, because this got me into this thought of how important it is to carry also, and I read it already when I was 15 or something like this.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because a teacher in my school, he showed it to her, like he was reading from it. The book is very interesting. So it's called The Continuum Concept by John Lidloff, and in German it's called Die Suche nach dem verlorenen Glück. She makes a big claim for carrying the child in the first months, how important it is, and how bad the stroller is. I mean, yeah, it's quite an emotional book. After you read it, you hate the stroller, the
pram.
But the pram, you hate the pram. Everyone with a pram with a very young child, you want to go there and tell them, no, that's so wrong. So it's probably a bit overboard. But it's a very nice thing. I think now that at least in Germany, it's now very common actually that people are carrying their child.
I see it a lot.
I think 10 years ago it was not so common, but now also here in Berlin, very, very common to carry your young child.
And it's, I think it has benefits for the kid as this kind of safety mechanism. Like often we had it when she was young and wouldn't sleep, like no matter what, we'd put in the Tragetuch and you'd walk around 2 minutes later, she's like asleep. So for that, it was very practical. And for getting around, like, man, trying to go somewhere with the public transport, for example, with a pram is hard work. Sometimes they have lifts and things, but often they don't. And man, just having your baby in a Tragetuch is just so much easier, to move and go somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah. Good. What else? Let's do 5 more minutes time cap.
Yeah. So the other thing we tried and works for us pretty well is the Elimination Communication, or the Windelfrei in German, which is communicating with your child, and as opposed to just having disposable nappies where they crap their nappies and you change their nappies, which is kind of I also thought like, oh, that's what you do. Have to spend the first few years changing dirty nappies, and that was part of it. But then we heard about this Elimination Communication. I think it was in the Artgerecht book, which is also another book about kids.
I didn't like this book so much,
but it gave us ideas, some things, and this is a thing which,
because it was one of these books where the word father was never mentioned.
Okay, the whole book, not one father was to be had.
So it was, okay.
Your work is done, father. Yeah, funny. But that's, I think, where we got the idea, and then we started trying this Elimination Communication, where you have Stoffwindel, like cloth diapers. You can actually do it. What we're doing now with Eleanor's more like disposable diapers, but we still have we still are doing the process of when we see that she needs to go to the toilet, we take her to the toilet, and she normally, like more often than not, goes in the toilet, and it takes a bit of practice, and it works for us very well. But you have to, again, that's where like the connection to the Tragetuch helps, The few times now with Eleanor where she did shit herself was when she was lying on her own. She was lying on the ground and we were doing our thing, and then you hear this, oi, missed it. But with Mariella, who was very close by in the Tragetuch, where you have the close connection, it was more often you felt her squirming and felt something coming, and then we would go, and works really good. Like,
but you also know the times, it gets it's a bit that it has a rhythm, a certain rhythm. Plus minus, of course, but
after sleeping, after eating, often. No, and it's sometimes a bit annoying to keep undressing them and taking them to the toilet, nothing comes, and dressing them. But for me, it was much nicer than changing shitty diapers. So that's something which works.
And I just want to mention that this approach is different from the GDR approach, because in GDR there was also that the children learned very early to go on the toilet, but it was a bit more forced, there was some other techniques that was, let's say it worked, like the children were very early, they didn't need diapers anymore, but this approach that you talk about is much more, it is very nice also for the child, actually, because the child doesn't need to hang around in the dirty diapers. Okay.
Yeah. So now I don't think I'll explain so much more how that works, because again, it's probably like quite different for everyone how well it works or that, but it's something maybe to look into, that you don't necessarily have to change shitty diapers for years on end. So elimination communication is what they call it in English. Then the other thing was just the breastfeeding, which I don't know, we did it right from the start, and for us it was very practical. Not everyone can do it. I don't want to say it's like better or what. I'm always very careful with that, to say this is the way you should do it, because again, it's very personal to everyone. But we did it. My mum, being a lactation consultant, was one of the big reasons. No, she gave us tips at the start and already knew like breastfeeding is good for your baby and can be a very good thing. So breastfeeding, good stuff. Go breastfeeding.
I think in the John Liedloff book, she's also talking a lot about this. Also, that's how important it is. And I think now everyone, like all scientists, everyone, the blah blah that talks about it, everyone knows now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just maybe a time, at least here in Europe, where it was like, no, it's not needed, or something like this. There's old, I found in my grandmother's place, I found old stuff, old books from Eastern Germany, from socialist times. And there's also it's very, very pro breastfeeding. And I think maybe at the same time in Western Germany, it was not so much pro breastfeeding, which was maybe also because they had this resources, they had more this capitalistic entities that wanted to sell the mother's milk derivatives stuff.
Okay.
Maybe just a small Verschwörungstheorie here.
Yeah. What else was on my list? Home birth. We tried with our first daughter. It didn't work, and we ended up going to the hospital and had her there. So we tried again with the second daughter, Eleanor, and it did work, and it was really nice, and obviously has a lot of benefits from what I know. But again, I'm very careful to say this is better or not. But we had both now, and I can say from my experience, the home birth was just so much easier and so much more relaxed and so much nicer as a whole. It might not necessarily work, but for us, the home birth was really, really cool. And I think, again, this has a big impact. It starts early, doesn't it? Like, even with the birth, I think will have a big impact to the kids' development. How that whole process is. But so there's something we did which was nice. And then baby-led weaning, it's so funny because it's got names for all this stuff when it's just kind of, for me, felt very standard. Baby-led weaning in regards to the food, like we never had brei, kind of like a porridge and stuff, which is what some people start pretty early on for whatever reason. We just breastfed until Mariella started grabbing food, and it's also very kind of cool and easy for us that she just eats what we eat, and we never had to like spend time preparing her meal on the side extra and stuff. So that's also
this we also took from your ideas. We also did this. Sometimes we have also this stuff that you can buy in glasses for
pureed
if you
stuff.
are like like not at home and stuff. Or
Uh-huh.
if I'm very lazy, I use it sometimes. Ephraim actually really loves it.
Yeah.
This thing, but it's for us was also the same, like to have him let him participate in what we eat and to let. And in the beginning it was this you also did, like to have only one thing or something. Did you do this as well?
One thing? How do you mean?
Like we had like 1 week only carrots.
Okay, he only wanted to eat carrots.
No, we gave him, like when he really started to, like the first time he ate, we
Yeah.
did this for a few weeks to really give him that he experiences one thing, the taste very properly. So 1 week was only carrots. Must be the worst week of his life.
Yeah.
I had one moment when he was feeding me. Now he likes to feed me, and he just fed me carrots, like without stopping, like bam, carrot, 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 carrot. And I had to eat, like in a matter of a few minutes, I had to eat so many carrots after. Wow, I thought, what did I do? Why did I give you 1 week just carrots? No, I think it was good, but so 1 week we had only carrots, then 1 week we had only potatoes, then 1 week we had only, we did this.
Okay.
So it's very clear how things taste.
Yeah.
And then we went for the mix after a few, maybe after 2 months.
I did it wrong.
Something like that. Like this. But Ephraim also, he wanted to eat extremely early, like super early. Like it was so funny now. I remember he didn't know what is the thing that you eat, so he tried to eat the table first, always the table. Then he tried to eat the dishes. And only after weeks he realized it's the thing on the dishes that you can eat. Oh, that was so funny moment. Yeah. And the home birth, maybe also say just one thing, that we also did a home birth. It was a wonderful experience. It was really maybe the strongest experience of my life. Yeah, it was great. You don't need to go anywhere. I felt very involved. I heard of other fathers that said they didn't really know what to do or something. I didn't feel like this at all. I was very involved for the whole time, doing things, and it was really, really great. And many people before the birth were very concerned. Home birth, that's dangerous, and so on. You can read in the statistics how dangerous it really is. This will calm you down if you consider it. Of course, there can be complications, but you just go to the hospital. The likelihood that there is a complication is so big, and you don't realize it, that there's really something happening, is so low that you can say in the hospital it's also the danger is almost the same. This is just when you look at the statistics. So I'm not trying to tell people to do home birth. I'm just a bit annoyed, let's say, by how the narrative is that it's very dangerous and you have to go to a hospital. In Germany, it's called Krankenhaus, so it's for sick people. But you're not giving birth. You're not sick. It's something normal. And if there are complications, you go to the hospital. This is super important.
Which is what we did.
Exactly.
It's not all or nothing. If
exactly.
The midwives have that in their head, and you talk beforehand, a plan. Okay, you spend that time to get to know your midwife. Yeah, and you come up with a plan. If something doesn't happen, then what are we going to do? And you talk it through. So I myself also didn't have a fear at all. But like when I tell people we're going to have a home birth and we had a home birth, a lot of people are like, whoa, very surprised that you kind of were brave enough or somehow. But for me it also wasn't I wasn't scared at all. It was a kind of normal thing to do. And worked really well.
So just how we say in German, breaking a spear for just thinking about home birth, and it, like, if people are listening to it that are thinking about it, to just look at the statistics and to talk with midwives about it. and maybe not with doctors in the hospital, because they are very biased, because what they see is the people coming in, trying home birth, coming in with complications. And of course, if you are in the hospital and you see this every day, maybe not every day, but if you see this just happening, because you don't see the people at home giving birth if you're in the hospital doctor, then of course you're very, very biased. So yeah, it's, if you set it up in the right way, if you make your precautions, then the risk is not much higher than in the hospital. Now Sascha, jetzt meldest du dich hier oder was? It's not a spear, it's also a lance. Yeah, I didn't know if lance is the right word. Lance heißt es Lanze? Lance?
I'm not similar thing. I wouldn't really be sure of the definition between the two. A spear
Lanze.
you might throw, and a lance.
Yeah, I don't know, Sascha. I'm not even sure if they have a Lanze in English.
There is
Maybe
a lance.
it's a German
Yeah, there is a
weapon.
lance.
Lance, yeah.
Yeah.
Lance Armstrong.
What the definition is? We have
Okay.
to find out.
Okay, Sascha, it's nice that you're here also, incognito. Now I know that you listen as well. Yeah. Okay, I said it wrong. Yeah, of course. Always when I say something wrong, only then you say something, huh? Mr. Fast. Good. Something else, Simon?
Yeah, maybe I would just recommend this book, which I'm just reading at the moment, which, yeah, is really cool. It's quite a small book and a simple read, and it's a bit relevant now that Mariela's a bit older. It's called Magic Places, and the author is Penny Brownlee. She's a New Zealand...
Penny Brown, I write it here in the
Penny
chat.
Brownlee, yeah. I think it's...
And the book is called?
Magic Places.
Magic Places.
Yeah, and it's about kind of developing, or not developing, but letting kids be creative and grow up creative, like in regards to drawing and clay and this kind of stuff. And there's a few things which I'm reading them, which I'm like, ooh, click, like really making click with me in regards to, again, drawing things for your kids in regard to just letting them do it. Similar topics, but in regards to letting them develop their creativity. Yeah, that's... Yeah, a really nice book. Simple little read, but for me, again, because Mariela's doing this, starting to draw and do this kind of stuff, there were a few moments like, ooh, yeah, I really have to think about Magic Places.
And then in German, there are these books from Renz Polster. How is it called? Herbert Renz Polster?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. How's this book called? I just write the name. He has also a book about like illnesses of children, where you can, it's very nice to have it. So if the child has something, you can just look it up, the symptoms, and at least it calms you down when you think like, oh no, what's happening? We need to go to the hospital immediately. There's a red dot on the nose.
Okay.
Yeah, calms you a bit down. I think that's his name, Herbert Renz-Polster. And he has one other book which both you also read it, no? Both of us read it.
Which one was
you
his
gave
other
it
book?
to me. You gave it to me.
What's it called?
Yeah, I don't know what it's called.
I gave it to you. What book did I give to you?
Wait, I look it up. The book is called Kinder verstehen. Kinder verstehen. Yeah, Kinder verstehen. Okay. Sascha is explaining me what I'm trying to say. I didn't even know what it means, this breaking the lance of tournament. Okay, Sascha, good. Thank you very much.
One more book recommendation.
Yeah, one more book.
Janet Lansbury, No Bad Kids.
How do I write it?
Her name?
Yeah.
Janet,
Yeah.
J-A-N-E, Lansbury, L-A-N-D-S, Lansbury, B-U-R-Y. I'm fairly certain.
Okay, and
No
it's
Bad
called,
Kids.
It's called
No Bad Kids. And it's sort of, for kids a bit older.
Okay.
How to discipline your children.
Yeah, and of
it's
course
nice.
the work from Alfie Kohn that I mentioned yesterday already. There's a lot of
Even though you don't need books, you'll be fine.
exactly. Never read any books on children education.
Good luck out there.
But then you also need to be responsible for all your mistakes. If you read a book, you can just give responsibility away to the book. Can you compile a list with all the recommendations? Yes, I can. No, I say maybe someone else can do it. Can someone compile a list with all the recommendations, making some show notes? Last time someone did it. It was very nice. Thank you. So maybe someone else can do it. It would be nice if someone feels like it's valuable and can do it. Good. Okay. Wow. It's such a big topic. We talked longer than I thought. I thought we talked 90 minutes. We talked now for almost 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. There's much more to talk about. I think there will be a second time, maybe in a year or something like this, or
if we're still
every year,
alive.
Exactly. Good. Thank you all for listening at this funny time. Of the day, mid of the day, also nice. Something else to say? No, not really. Thank you, Simon, for doing this with me. It was a lot of fun, and that was it. So, see you at another point, everyone, and a last word from Simon now.
No, that's it. Yeah, good luck, and thanks, Joseph, for organizing us. A bit apprehensive to give advice on those things, because it's each to your own. You have to find out for yourself, but I'm sure everyone will do great. Thanks.
Wonderful. Okay, goodbye, everyone. Have a nice day.